the countries or the national governments forget the European official common position and through this to try to reach their goals. And when the understanding of this situation gets through, that I really don't know, to be very frank, then faster, then better for Europe. I can only say that there are many people in Europe who work quite hardly to make this understood.
I'm George Verkan. I would like to ask, there were so many sort of programs and initiatives regarding this new Eastern Europe, and the latest is this Eastern Partnership, which was introduced with great sort of, I would say, sound and enthusiasm a year ago, but now it's somehow getting into the periphery of I know, media. And how you see the future of either this or maybe some other new projects and programs?
Actually, this program was the first one, first real program which was invented, that there was a lot of fight and political pressure to make it happen, because it was not too much liked at the beginning, I can say. I think the main authors of this program are two governments, the Swedish and Polish, or the concrete persons like Foreign Minister Bildt and Foreign Minister Sikorski, who made it happen, and the parties like EPP who supported and pressed it furiously in the European level. The problem, I am not so pessimistic as you are. Actually, it's moving. It's not out of the day, and it will be more and more up. Again, why I'm saying this, because I just came from the one seminar and meeting where it was very clearly decided that it will be raised even clearly more up. The current problem with this is mostly the financing, because during the current economic crisis and all the situation, I must say, compared to some other programs, the financing of this program is, we can say, from my point of view, not enough. And I think it needs more precise goals, it needs more precise priorities, but the new Commission, there are many members who understand this very well, that it's necessary, and I think there are many national governments who work on this direction. I think nearly all member states, new member states, and not new member states, but we can say at least part of the region in Europe is taking it very seriously and interested to move it forward. And we can only hope that these who are not so enthusiastic taking it understands why we are doing this. We are not doing this because we like Georgians, Moldavians and Ukrainians and so on, but we are doing this directly on our own purpose. Because living there where we knew very well that Europe needs stability. When there is no stability in this area, we get all to the problems. And when we are not having the perspectives of the European integration to this area, again we get to the problems. This we Europe, who are now soon the member states of Europe. And I think this realistic approach, what I call of the world, will nevertheless move, because I think there are really a lot of supporters among the member states to this. So we will fight for the budget and for all other needs, because to make this work more actively. But it's not there at all.
Well, if you excuse me, I really don't have a question, rather a comment. First, thank you very much for your very interesting and enthusiastic speech. And I share fully what you said. On your comment of what Europe is, I think we should all denounce those who claim that some 18th or 19th century geographer defined what Europe is. It actually is a value-based system. And I do buy the explanation someone gave me that the old geographer's definition of what Europe is was done by a French geographer who drew the lines to ensure that the highest mountains would remain in France. And I think that could well be a motive. I want to pick up one thing of what you said, and particularly, and that is the integration into Europe, whether it will lead to just an integration or eventually sometime down the line European membership. It requires hard work and determination, and it's not enough just to talk. You must walk the talk, as the Americans say. And here I think there is maybe a part of the Soviet legacy, a certain attitude that thinks that talking is enough and action comes second or third or fourth rate. And in daily work I actually see that here in Georgia sometimes, and it does sometimes frustrate me that the hard work is necessary. And when you want to integrate into Europe, it is not enough to do just a bit. And you can't expect Europe to change the rules and regulations for you because of your charm and your climate and all that. It is you that have to adapt to Europe. You have gone through that process in Estonia, and I thought the process was probably cumbersome and frustrating, but it paid off at the end. And that is also a message to the Georgians. There are no shortcuts. You just have to do your homework.
To eliminate guest of the month speakers, we will still talk in Europe House.
Oh, definitely. I think talk is extremely important, but this was more a comment what Mart says about importance of hard work and determination. Here again, Georgia, which I believe is a European country, that's my personal belief, I think it is just as European as any other. There is an impatience in the nation, which can be explained historically and tradition-wise. But again, I think patience is of essence as well, paired with hard work.
To be very frank, this understanding that the hard work is necessary, and at the same time, it's very often the people end with this hard work when they are finished talking about the necessity of the hard work. I must say this is very human. To be very frank, when I look in current Europe, I don't name the countries and so on, but actually this is very human. This is not the Soviet legacy, I think, because that's the human beings are. And but at the same time, it must be always remembered, exactly how you said.
I have actually two questions. First, what chances do you think Georgia has to become a member, or having given EU perspective, without Turkey being a member? And would Turkey being a member of EU country at some point of the time will increase chances for Georgia or not? And second question is now looking from the EU perspective, or looking from Brussels. How would you comment reports in the media that on the one hand EU is moving forward with the association agreement, visa facilitation agreement and other agreements, but on the other hand there is also on the table proposal to scrap the EUCR for the South Caucasus, basically high-ranking official to deal with the conflicts in Georgia, dealing with stability and all that. And what would be your comment, and would you say that there is perhaps a need to have actually upgrading of this position, perhaps to have a minister, former minister, perhaps a former prime minister? It's not just a leading question, but it's in this position to deal with the conflict, person who is familiar with ex-Soviet countries, transitory countries, who can actually perhaps facilitate the conflicts which are actually stopping the development of this region, and perhaps not allowing the countries and the region to develop into full potential. Thank you.
Yes, there were so many questions, so I nearly forget the first one. The first one was more simple to Turkey. Yes, that was simpler as the second one. No, first of all, I think when Turkey really, we can maybe just dream it has happened, a miracle, and Turkey is soon now the member states of the European Union. I think then the Georgia will follow very quickly, because that's very clear. The Turkish membership will speed up